Mr. Henkel, now 1 minute and a half for you.
Well, let me reflect to the withdrawal agreement which was published yesterday. For me, this is a very clear sign that Brexit is a declaration of war to European industry, not only to British industry. Are you aware of the fact that economically Brexit means that as if 19 countries leave the European Union at the same time? There are very complex logistical supply chains at danger, customer relationships, supplier relationships, and at the end, Britain becomes the largest British customer. And I wonder why we are continuing to try to punish Britain for their decision. Instead, the European Commission should focus on getting the interests of the European Union as priority number one. And those interests are very similar to the interests of Britain. Any deal which is good for the British industry is also a very good deal for the European industry. And that is why I believe we should change the priorities of the European Commission. Let's make sure that the British industry has an access to the European common market as before. And likewise, let's make sure that the common market industries have the same access to the British industry.
Thank you.
Today's draft Brexit document is just a work of pure fantasy, but it's also a dangerous one, particularly on Northern Ireland. We will decide on our borders for our citizens. To paraphrase Margaret Thatcher, we have not voted successfully to take back control of our frontiers in Britain, only to see them reimposed at a European level, in a European superstate, exercising a new dominance from Brussels. No, no, no. The UK's not for turning. And the only common sense that has been spoken in this chamber today was the ECR's Mr Henkel. What matters is people's jobs, industry and their GDP. Your companies want to have a free trade deal with us. Our companies want to have a free trade deal with you. If you don't want to see this Parliament split apart, because that's what's happening because of the populist vote, my side of the Parliament is actually gaining control of governments or being in opposition, then I suggest you listen to Mr Henkel if you don't listen to us.